Ashby is absolutely the first ATS that I've ever been impressed with.
Our recruiting team is up-leveling so much with data, and I know it's only going to be up from here.
When we're going to execs and presenting all of these beautiful dashboards that we have in Ashby, I feel really confident in standing behind the data.
Ashby loves to over-communicate, and we are definitely here for our finance department, HR department. They always know what's going on within recruiting.
Even something as small as an interview that needs rescheduling, that'll pop up as an alert right on the recruiter's screen. So they're living and breathing in one system.
It's good to see the actual candidate's availability visually compared to the interviewer's availability. We're also able to not even have to worry about comparing time zones because Ashby does it automatically for you.
What's innovative about Ashby is, hands down, how quickly there was product release around AI and keeping ahead of the curve of quickly shifting technology in the space.
We've been using the AI function for sourcing. It's made it way faster to search within our system. I love Ashby because it gives us real-time visibility into all parts of the talent pipeline in one place.
I can definitely say that we are not leaving Ashby anytime soon.
We can now manage our inbound volume seamlessly, source directly in LinkedIn with our Chrome extension, and ensure the hiring team is on the same page.
Before, sourcing used to be in its own tool. Now sourcing is able to be in the same place, and we're able to get that real-time view of what the entire pipeline looks like.
I did not have to lift much with the onboarding experience. Very seamless.
We had a really tight timeline that we needed to meet.
It was the easiest onboarding experience I've ever done in 2 decades.
I felt like our customer service rep was honestly part of Aurora Solar.
My CSM is the best CSM I've ever partnered with. Everybody at Ramp absolutely loves her.
I love Ashby because honestly, as a HR data analytics professional, I've up-leveled in my career.
I had a holy shit moment. This is everything I've been looking for in one place. We need it now.
Just having it all like one and done is really nice.
I love it so much.
I would never use another ATS as long as I live.
Huge thank you.
Ashby is ahead of the game and really could optimize your recruiting team.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Ashby Keynote 2023. What a year it has been. If I look tired to you, that's not only because I have 2 young kids and a startup. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did write this joke myself. But jokes aside, I do want to start with the driving question behind everything we do at Ashby. And that is, what does a best-in-class talent function look like today in this environment, and how can we support you in building one? This last year has seen the biggest shift in the tech talent landscape in over 10 years. We went from unprecedented hypergrowth in 2021 to one of the biggest pullbacks in hiring that we've seen in recent memory. Here's just one graph from our own data set that shows that change. Since March 2022, we've seen inbound volumes increase 3x, while the volume of posted jobs is down by 42%. Whereas for many of you, sourcing outbound talent was at the top of the priority list for many years, dealing with a huge influx in inbound applications has become a top challenge. In talking to all of you, it's clear that the priorities for TA teams have shifted significantly. Many teams are trying to maintain a strong TA function with fewer resources, so efficiency is top of mind. As external hiring has slowed for a lot of companies, internal mobility has become a higher priority. And one of the most consistent shifts that we've seen, the emphasis all of you are putting onto the quality of new talent, whereas in the last cycle, quantity and hitting numbers was top of mind. We're now consistently seeing each hire needs to count mentality. And TA teams are on average putting a lot more effort into each hire. Our latest trend report on recruiter productivity showed a 30 to 40% increase in the volume of candidates who are being interviewed for each role. While this recent shift in priorities is massive, the idea of changing priorities is not new to the modern TA function. In fact, I would argue that in the last 10 to 15 years, the TA function has evolved a lot faster than any other function within a business. Most of these changes are part of a strong underlying trend that is at the core of the Ashby founding story. That underlying trend is that TA is getting more complex and more sophisticated as the importance of talent in companies continues to grow. Talent is now the most important asset to more and more companies. The outlier impact top talent can have is consistently increasing, and top talent remains scarce and hard to attract. While we are seeing a temporary pullback in investment in TA in a lot of companies right now, as we digest some of the excess of 2020 and 2021, we know that that underlying trend is as strong as ever. I just made a pretty big claim when I said that the modern TA function has been the fastest evolving business function in the last 10 to 15 years. So I'd like to back that up by taking a closer look at how the competition for talent has shaped the demand for TA teams over that time. It has introduced, in no particular order, the following new ways of operating: an increased importance of candidate experience, an increased focus on DE&I, a heavy focus on outbound sourcing for many roles, forecasting and capacity planning, using data to inform day-to-day operations, a strong emphasis on employer branding, international hiring, and as we just talked about, quality of hire. And all of this builds on top of ideas that have quickly become table stakes in the last couple of years, such as structured hiring. Of course, very few of these ideas are entirely new, but at the same time, they were not widely adopted by talent teams 10 plus years ago. You see the results of these new requirements in the adoption of new tools and introduction of new functions, such as recruiting operations at early and earlier company stages. And none of these are fads. Certain areas may be deprioritized temporarily, but overall, the requirements for modern TA teams are only evolving in one direction. Anyone who led a TA function through hypergrowth in 2021 will have capacity planning in their tool belt. And that skill will become table stakes and very important to operating in any mode of growth going forward. The above paints a picture that I've observed for many years now. Market forces are pushing TA teams to rapidly become a much more sophisticated version of themselves. The most recent shift over the last 18 months or so simply adds to that ever-growing pile. With that in mind, let's go back to my original question. What does a best-in-class talent function look like today in this environment? The answer is, it's complicated. It's really very, very complicated. And we will spend more time diving into the question very shortly. And I'm actually pretty excited with the answers that we've come up with. But one thing that's much less complicated is that as TA is growing more sophisticated and more complex and continues to rapidly evolve, you need a strong partner to support you. When Abik and I first considered starting Ashby, at this point just about 5 years ago, we saw this long-running trend in motion. And we got incredibly excited about the idea of building a company that can support the rapid evolution of what we believe to be the most important competence in any modern company. We're excited to help our customers adapt to changes quickly and shape world-class talent teams. And we're doing that in 4 different ways, which we'll be exploring further throughout the keynote. 1, Ashby the product, a powerful all-in-one solution for modern TA teams. 2, customer success and RecOps, who partner closely with our customers on deploying Ashby, but also industry best practices. 3, our educational content, such as the Talent Trend Report and our Offer Accepted podcast. And lastly, which we're unveiling in just a few minutes, our hiring excellence framework. It is our answer to this very complicated question of what does a best-in-class talent function look like today in this environment? Across all 4 pillars, our goal is to not only deliver a product that allows you and your teams to do your best work, but also enable you with the knowledge and support you need. And we're aiming to help you be responsive to short-term market changes, but also support you in this long-running trend of the evolving TA function. So now let's get back to answering our very complicated question. On that front, I'm very excited to introduce one of our own more strategic hires that we've made over the last year here at Ashby, our new VP of People and Talent, Jim Miller. Jim combines a wealth of experience and incredible creativity and open-mindedness to new ideas. It's been a huge joy working with him, and also see him deliver insights and content to the broader community. I'm excited to hand the stage over to Jim to introduce himself and week one of the Hiring Excellence Framework.
Thanks, Benji. Hi, I'm Jim Miller. I'm the VP of People and Talent at Ashby. Today, I want to start by taking a moment to share a bit about my time in the talent space. During my 15 years at Google, our team managed upwards of 4.2 million applications a year. Naturally, testing with such large data sets revealed infinite learnings. My time at FullStory allowed me to put those learnings and my unique beliefs into action. But the key difference I wasn't expecting was how much our talent tech stack would hold me back. I went from Google, where I played a part in building a custom, fully integrated ATS in-house, to stitching together a handful of point systems. More time was wasted finding workarounds than it was doing meaningful work. At FullStory, we started with Ashby Analytics, then implemented Ashby All-in-One, and this solved that problem for us. So much so, I asked to come and work here. I'm now able to put my strategic beliefs into action across product input, individual contributor work, and moments like this one. Today, I have the pleasure of sharing how the culmination of these 22 years, plus thousands of hours of Ashby research and hundreds of conversations with global TA teams, has resulted in what we're calling the Hiring Excellence Framework. As Benji highlighted, expectations for modern TA teams are sky high and ever increasing. Old maturity models that plot you on a linear graph from tactical to strategic simply aren't adequate anymore. They fail to adapt to the complexity of the modern talent landscape. But I think, as most people here today know, recruiting isn't a linear track, and being good at everything is far less valuable than being excellent at the things your business really needs. In fact, the talent space is changing so fast, the world won't wait for you to get to maturity. Understanding this rapidly evolving environment, we went back to first principles to evaluate more deeply the what and the how driving top talent teams. We mapped and organized their success and their experiences into 4 key competencies. The first, strategy and planning. Are we actively planning headcount, setting targets, and defining success? 2, candidate attraction. Do we have access to the best talent for the jobs your business needs? 3, candidate evaluation. Are we assessing candidates effectively enough to accurately make the right hire? And 4, stakeholder engagement. Is recruiting bringing the business along? Naturally, all of this is easier said than done. As we dug deeper into how top talent teams actually unlock the success across these competencies, we realized hiring excellence isn't just the work you do. Hiring excellence is also the cultural mindset your company has around recruiting. That mindset shift can be best illustrated through 3 strategic pillars that extend across the 4 competencies. They are continuous improvement, operational efficiency, and organizational agility. These strategic pillars are how top talent teams excelled in the 4 core competencies. And that's why these pillars and the competencies come together to form our Hiring Excellence Framework. Our Hiring Excellence Framework enables your organization to have outsized impacts by incrementally establishing the analytics and operational rigor required to meet future challenges. The best part? This framework is flexible enough to meet any need an organization may have. To see how the framework can be brought into life, we need to first understand the growth goals of your organization. We've found that following the past 3 years of change, most talent teams find themselves in one of 3 overall growth stages. These growth stages will help set the scene for the flexibility of the Hiring Excellence Framework. Shortly after I joined FullStory in early 2021, we, like so many around us, entered the hypergrowth stage. After assessing the situation we found ourselves in, I realized that candidate attraction was the key competency we needed to index on. This meant building processes and a team focused on creating an inbound engine to drive scale efficiently. We optimized job descriptions for visibility in all the places candidates applied. We improved our storytelling, and we ran targeted advertising strategies. Even in this highly competitive environment, we hit our goals by attracting the majority of our hires through inbound channels, allowing us to redirect sourcing efforts to a few truly complex roles that really needed it. As the macroeconomic conditions we all know and felt came to light in 2022, we suddenly went from hypergrowth to retracting. We were shrinking overall, but we had a few limited roles open. The Hiring Excellence Framework indexed us on the candidate evaluation competency as quality of hire became imperative. We re-engineered our hiring process to deliver a wider choice of great candidates at the latter stages versus stuffing the pipeline at the top of the funnel. Having Ashby all-in-one really helped us adjust our processes at scale and made the required changes straightforward to implement. Now at Ashby, in 2023, we're steadily expanding. The competency I'm focused on here is strategy and planning, where I need to ensure that we have the right hires at the right time and a resourcing balance for our ambitious plans. I hope these quick examples from my experience can help illustrate the power of the Hiring Excellence Framework. Let's briefly summarize the framework's main components for you to use as best for your organization. First, define your growth goals to understand the stage of your business. Second, determine what core competencies your talent org needs to be excellent at in the immediate term. And then third, highlight how your team will approach success through one or more of the pillars. The framework in its entirety is meant to provide flexibility and agility at any stage of your business, while the strategic pillars remain constant commitments to how your team operates. In the coming weeks and months, Ashby will be releasing additional content to help put hiring excellence into practice at your organization. And of course, our product team is laser focused on developing products and features that enable teams to implement hiring excellence. Let's hear from some top teams enabling hiring excellence today. I'll pass you off to our customer success team. Kira.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Kira, and I lead the customer success team supporting some of our largest accounts at Ashby. One of the best parts of my day include working alongside our customers and their incredible commitments to hiring excellence. Today, I get the joy of introducing them to you. Ashby's journey as a business started with a deep focus on recruiting analytics. Naturally, it makes sense to start today by hearing from the data-obsessed team at FullStory. Let's turn the spotlight to FullStory's career and commerce lead, Deshawn, whose approach to recruiting has become a best practice we share with other Ashby customers.
So when I think of Ashby, I think about how data has up-leveled our team and given us a strategic seat at the table. While the all-in-one handles our core hiring and applicant tracking system needs, FullStory's love language is data. And I've fallen in love with the data backstories I get to share thanks to Ashby. But more specifically, Ashby has enabled continuous improvement across our organization. I created a new role email alert internally that is powered with historical job information from Ashby Analytics. So job descriptions, hiring information, time to fill, and pass-through rates. One of the most powerful ways this Ashby-powered email has built confidence in our team is in regards to stakeholder engagement. There was one instance where a hiring manager felt we were not seeing enough pipeline for their open role. And from their point of view, it made complete sense. But thanks to Ashby, our talent team dug into the new role email alerts and quickly saw the historical trends. In a few clicks, we could see that the last time we hired for this role, we not only used agency recruiters, but every person hired had short tenures within the company. With that agency pipeline removed, our shifted strategy is actually performing quite well. Typically in recruiting, you use anecdotes to communicate, Meanwhile, Ashby allows you to tell real stories with real-time data. This has built confidence in our recruiters and made us strategic partners across our organization. And that information flows right into our strategy and planning. For all new roles, Ashby data allows us to set hiring managers up with the right expectations. There's no place that values the data-driven insight like the data nerds at Full Story. I think that basically makes us a match made in heaven.
Multiverse is a global organization focused on training the next generation of leaders through a real-world experience. Our shared values around the future of work has made Ashby an essential tool for innovating their recruiting approach. Let's turn the mic to Veronica, Senior Director of Global Talent.
Ashby makes me look absolutely brilliant. Part of the reason we brought on Ashby was to basically throw out the book of how I've been doing recruiting for the past 2 decades. We were looking for a more innovative partner building the future of talent acquisition. Recruiting operations has traditionally been confined to what your system can do. Ashby instead encourages operational efficiency by letting us prioritize the best candidate-centric process. We, for the first time, are thinking about the candidate journey with user in mind, the way it should have always been. Then we go figure out how to build it in the system with our Ashby customer success partner. Ashby further powers our organizational agility by allowing us to centralize our recruiting foundations into one tool. You heard that right, one tool. And the experience just keeps improving every day. Ashby's speed of feature development allows us to continuously improve and stay 3 steps ahead in terms of our candidate attraction process. And my favorite, the biggest turnaround is speed, and speed has been on AI. Our goal is to attract the top of the top 1% of candidates. That requires excellent communication at scale. Features like Ashby's AI tokens automatically generate dynamic text for our email outreach. That level of innovation is how Multiverse creates the experience we want for our hiring managers, our talent team, and candidates. And that level of customization translates smoothly to the data side as well. We can customize multiple fields while still yielding meaningful reporting. And a lot of times, a lot of data doesn't actually yield a lot of insight. But Ashby is built in a way where even with those custom fields, we're seeing meaningful intelligence and decisions around our process. And that's why, again, Ashby makes me and my team look brilliant.
As the world's #1 solar design software, the Aurora Solar team wanted an overall talent stack as efficient as their mission. We're thrilled to hear from the talent leaders, Adam and Tony, on how Ashby is saving them on costs and time.
Reliable, streamlined data and workflows are critical to running an effective TA team, and yet they're incredibly difficult to achieve without the right tooling.
With Ashby, we're able to work with a level of operational efficiency that just wasn't possible with our old suite of solutions.
Some of the key considerations in our search process included a seamless integration with our HR stack, the ability to automate manual processes that were time-consuming and prone to mistakes, and clear and accessible visibility into our data so that we could easily set, track, and report on our progress to goals.
We now use Ashby for it all, in part thanks to the speed of the onboarding team. Our new Ashby Workday integration has enabled our team to go from tool switching to living fully in one product.
I did not believe the Ashby team when they told me that the integration would take 1 week, and they were able to migrate all of our data over it within 5 business days, including historical data. So the day that it happened, my jaw was literally on the floor.
Rather than recruiters opening 72 tabs or toggling between systems, everything they need for their day-to-day operations is visible right in their Ashby dashboard. As a head of TA, these sorts of changes are important. It improves my team's experience, makes our finance teams happy, and gives me the confidence that I need to know that nothing is falling through the cracks.
Even something as small as an interview that needs rescheduling, that'll pop up as an alert right on the recruiter's screen. So they're living and breathing in one system. It's these small but really impactful details that matter when you're trying to attract top talent. We can even email our hiring team directly from the profile of the candidate, and everything syncs, including replies, so that when we're communicating with candidates, we're not missing context or sending mixed messages. Ashby even allows us to keep that information confidential just to the hiring team that needs access. Overall, Ashby has unlocked our recruiting accessibility that we need to become an innovative and forward-thinking talent function.
We'll wrap by hearing from Ramp, an all-in-one finance platform and one of the fastest-growing startups out there. Since starting with Ashby, Ramp has been able to consolidate a number of point solutions into one streamlined product. Let's hear now from Madison from their People and Talent Operations team.
At Ramp, our recruiting process is unique. All of our recruiting pods optimize their workflows for the functions and teams that they're hiring for. Ashby allows our recruiting pods to have complete autonomy to set up the system how they want to use it. One of the many aspects I love about Ashby is how it empowers our team to continuously improve the way we hire versus being stuck in a rigid, predetermined hiring process that requires our team to mold themselves around it. No matter what your workflow is or how you want to customize your ATS, Ashby can partner with you. This adaptability is what unlocked operational efficiency for our team at Ramp. Our engineering recruiting team is all about pipeline management. We look for the best engineering talent, and oftentimes that means we have to turn away exceptional candidates. When our pipeline opens again, Ashby gives us a quick and easy view into that historic data that other systems just haven't been able to. Pulling that data is seamless so that our sourcers can see if we want to revisit archived candidates, it's right there and available for them. For example, if there's someone we may have passed on that now has gained experience somewhere else, we can now quickly find them in our system. This also spills nicely into our strategy and planning at Ramp. We can easily do a look-back analysis on past candidates to understand things like, did talent who passed on us go to other engineering teams that we admire? And overall, it could just inform us a lot about what we do in general. Our business recruiting team is often opening up brand new roles. And that's the other benefit of using Ashby, its ability to nurture meaningful stakeholder engagement. Actually, when we first launched Ashby, we had internal stakeholders emailing us saying, wow, I can't believe an ATS could be this good, or wow, I actually want to be in the ATS now. We went from having an ATS nobody liked to one people want to be actively involved with. Our executive team loves it, and you could see why. Every hiring manager, whether or not they're part of our hiring process, has clear visibility into the recruiting funnel. Instead of dumping information across Slack for them to dig through and find later, our hiring managers can log into Ashby and see exactly where talent stands. And it's also saving us time in so many ways. Instead of me having to force janky zaps to connect different systems, I now get automatic alerts when candidates move to new stages. Instead of spending half my week pulling data across multiple tools that we're using and trying to make sense of it all, I now can easily generate reports and have Ashby make sense of that for me. Instead of clicking through multiple tabs to review every individual application, we can use quick keyboard shortcuts to toggle across different applications. Everything is customized, everything is connected, and it's all easy to use thanks to Ashby.
We hope you enjoyed hearing how our customers are using the Ashby product and the Hiring Excellence Framework to up-level their talent functions. Next, we'll dig into a number of new features we're excited to spotlight. First up to share is our co-founder, Abik.
Thanks so much, Kira. Hi, I'm Abik, and I'm the co-founder and VP of Engineering at Ashby. Benji and I enjoy hiring, and we always have. It's fun to look at our hiring processes and figure out where we can find new talent, be more efficient, and create an exceptional candidate experience. But we found the state of TA software to feel pretty lackluster in helping us achieve this. We're engineers, and we're used to great tooling. So it not only felt frustrating to use TA software ourselves, but we felt for our colleagues in TA who we worked side by side with to build our teams. TA is a critical function, And software simply has to match that. Ashby being slightly better than the status quo wasn't good enough for us. You need the best that any software has to offer. So we built and continue to build Ashby to bring the highest standard of tools for you to be truly exceptional at what you do. Ashby had a lot of ground to cover. We had to not only catch up to the status quo, but significantly surpass it. So we knew one of our main goals was to build an organization that could deliver high-quality product at a rapid pace. This goal impacted all of our early decisions, from how we designed the platform on which we're building Ashby, to how we hire and develop engineering talent, to how we organize teams. We're really excited about the approach we've taken and how it's enabled us to evolve Ashby over the last year for you. In just a moment, we'll get deep into the product and explore some of the highlights of what we have shipped. And yes, we'll announce some exciting brand new features as well. But first, I want to take a moment to touch a bit more on our product philosophy. It's not enough to ship quickly. It's also critical that we move the product in the right direction. There are 3 major inputs into our product roadmap: our 10-year product vision, changes in the market, customer suggestions. Our 10-year vision serves as our long-term guide and outlines our goals and the value we aim to provide to our customers. We're aiming to build the most powerful tooling for modern talent teams out there, and we have strong, customer-informed opinions about what that looks like. That said, we won't pre-commit a long-term roadmap that may quickly become dated. Instead, the majority of product commitments are only a couple of months out, allowing us to adjust which parts of our vision we should be delivering on next. By staying informed about emerging demands, we adapt our near-term roadmap to address new requirements and empower TA teams to navigate the ever-changing landscape. Finally, we actively collaborate with all of you to gather feedback, understand pain points, and prioritize enhancements to address them. The approach of combining an engineering culture focused on long-term product philosophy with a product approach that closely aligns to our customers and the broader market has allowed us to ship over 40 consequential releases over the last year to help you be excellent at hiring. Your smaller asks also don't go unnoticed. We release Ashby around 10 times per day and ship multiple improvements each week that are directly tied to your feature suggestions. And our customers and the broader community have taken note. We're always excited to hear from you, so please keep that feedback coming. Okay, so you've heard about our product philosophy. Jim introduced us to the Hiring Excellence Framework. We even looked at this year's talent trends backed by Ashby data. How does it actually all come together in your day-to-day usage in the product? We can see this by taking a look back at some of the flagship features we launched this year. We're going to look at 4 key themes and workflows where you'll see the Hiring Excellence Framework and our product philosophy come to life. To kick things off, I'd like to invite Joel from our engineering team to talk about how this first set of features helps customers navigate the recent changes in the talent market. Joel?
Thanks, Abik. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to kick things off with our first set of features. Let's jump right in. Looking back at 2023, we witnessed major changes in the talent market. Firstly, at the beginning of the year, we saw new salary transparency laws take effect in key talent markets. Most notably, Washington State and California joined other states in requiring published salary ranges on job postings. This year, we also saw the macroeconomic environment produce an uptick of inbound application volume as many more job seekers entered the market. Lastly, this year, companies began to implement longer-term remote, hybrid, and return-to-office strategies for employees. Let's take a look at 4 key features we've launched this year to help you handle these changes in the talent market, starting with pay transparency. We put a lot of effort into making sure teams had an easy way to stay compliant with salary transparency laws in just a few clicks. On Ashby job boards, you can now display compensation details both on job boards and on job postings in a structured way. You can show multiple tiers, equity ranges, commission structures, and bonus details. There's even a section to describe your compensation philosophy with supporting links. Setting this up at the job level allows you to reuse these tiers across multiple job postings. This structured compensation data not only makes it easy to stay compliant, but it also helps you have more productive conversations with candidates by setting salary expectations up front. We were determined and brought this feature to market by the January deadline, helping teams stay compliant with new salary transparency laws. Oh. This year, talent teams faced another seismic shift: increased inbound application volume. In the opening, Benji shared with us data showing an increase in application rates per week across both business and tech roles. The reality is that some of these applications are redundant. You probably see this in your day-to-day. Maybe it's an eager candidate applying to the same role multiple times before you make a decision. Or maybe you have rejected candidates excessively reapplying within a short time period. To keep signal high and give your recruiting teams a way to handle this influx, we've introduced application limits. Application limits allows you to set rules on how often job seekers can apply to certain roles in a given time period. You have the option to display these rules so candidates know exactly what to expect. We can see it here in action on the application form. These rules limit candidates from excessively applying to multiple open roles before you make a decision, or reapplying to certain roles after they've been rejected. You can set up multiple rules and scope them to certain jobs, departments, or any other criteria using our powerful filters. Application limits ensures your team isn't spending time on duplicate applications, but it also helps ensure a fair and equitable review process for all candidates that apply. Teams were eager to set this up and start using it straight away. Here's Jacqueline speaking on the timeliness of application limits. Now, we've all seen and felt the surge of inbound application volume. But what about the other side of the equation for job applicants? If you're a candidate applying to dozens of roles during your search, any extra work really adds up over time. Timothy McKenna really puts this into perspective in his post. Thanks to Timothy for putting some numbers to what a lot of applicants deal with. To help job seekers with this effort, we've added the ability to autofill resume data into the application form. You'll notice we've automatically filled in certain fields like name, email, location, and social links. This is a delightful experience for applicants. It saves them time and it elevates your employer brand. Now, for our final feature in this segment, let's talk about one of the most dynamic changes in the last 12 to 18 months: location. Your company may be transitioning back to the office full time. Maybe you're establishing new hubs or only offering remote options in certain regions. It's critical to understand and organize where candidates are located when they apply. As you saw in the last clip, Ashby will automatically parse candidates' location data from the uploaded resume, or applicants can directly type it in. Creating structure to this location data allows you to more reliably do things like knock out questions, infer time zones, and generate location-based reports. Structuring this data in Ashby pays off multiple times over, as we'll see in other workflows. In this segment, we looked at staying compliant with pay transparency features, handling large inbound application volume with application limits, providing a great candidate experience with application autofill, and capturing structured location data with Ashby. As the talent market changed in the last 12 months, we've listened to you and adapted the product to help meet those shifting demands. At Ashby, it's important that our product velocity and workflows support you in being agile to everything that is changing now and in the future. Up next, we have Jared from our customer success team, who will talk us through some of the new ways you can engage candidates in Ashby.
All right, thanks for that, Joel, and hello. As part of the startup customer success team, I get a front row seat to how our customers think about engaging with candidates. The technology and communication channels available have never been so advanced. At Ashby, we're excited to be at the forefront of AI-assisted outreach and automation strategies to help in your sourcing efforts. In this segment, we're going to take a look at a workflow that may have seemed impossible not too long ago. We're going to start with our list of candidates. Ashby already makes it easy to build a list of candidates and nurture them over time. Unfortunately, the data you have on candidates when they first enter your pipeline can quickly become out of date. Until now. Available as an add-on, we will automatically sync your candidates to our third-party data provider, ensuring you have the most up-to-date information on your candidates. The sync runs every 30 days and updates data like current company, work history, and location. Okay, now that we're working with the most up-to-date information on my candidates, let's create a list of candidates we've talked to in the past and kick off a sourcing campaign. We have an idea of who to reach out to, so we can type in a description like Director of Design, located in New York City, archive reason, not willing to relocate, and start working with the data. And there it is. Straight away, you see one of the first core features in Ashby's AI ecosystem. Using natural language, you can describe the candidates you're looking for, and the AI assistant will build the filters for you. You'll also notice we're utilizing that structured location data we automatically captured in the previous segment. Once the assistant is done, I always have the option to tweak filters as needed for any reason. This is great for exploring your candidate data as a newcomer or quickly building something complex as a seasoned user. Okay, now that we've got our list, we're going to add them to a sequence letting them know that we're opening an office in New York City and are hiring for a director of design. After the candidates are added to the correct sequence, we can jump in and make some adjustments before sending. Here, we see a second AI-based feature in Ashby called Generative AI Tokens. This AI-powered token is 1 part research assistant and 1 part copywriter, helping you draft a compelling email that takes into account the job description and the candidate's work history and skills when generating text. Just like the AI assistant for building filters, you can easily refine the generated output, making sure it matches your outreach strategy. When we launched this feature in early access, folks were thrilled at how quickly we integrated this new technology into Ashby workflows. Thanks for the shout out here, Luke. Much more to come on that. Okay, so the email looks good, but what about adding another dimension to your outreach strategy that's not email? In sequences, you can add a new step that prompts you to send a LinkedIn connection request or InMail to the recipient of the sequence. By adding this step, you can set up templated language to complete your LinkedIn outreach as part of this campaign. Because it's driven through Ashby, we'll automatically track this activity in the candidate feed on their profile. Let's move on to the final feature in this workflow called public booking links. And actually, let's use it in the InMail sequence step that we just set up. Public booking links can be added as a token to your sequences or sent manually. These sequences are connected to a job and interview stage. Anyone can use these links to schedule an interview whether they exist as a candidate in Ashby or not. Once they do so, they'll be added to Ashby, moved to the correct stage in your interview plan, and invites will be sent out fully automated. Customers couldn't wait to try this out. Here's Daniel relaying his excitement about the impact to his team and applicants. To close out this section, we can take a look at what sending the LinkedIn InMail looks like in booking through the public link. So the sequence will start with the email being sent. If there's no response to the email, we'll be notified in Ashby that we're ready to send the InMail. Here, you can click through and land on the candidate's profile page. We can copy this message from the sequence step we set up and paste it into the InMail and click send. When the candidate receives this InMail, they can click on the public booking link, find a time, enter their details, and they'll automatically be created in Ashby if needed and move to the correct stage on the correct job with the meeting in the books. So, we looked at how you can go from AI-powered filtering in your CRM all the way through to an automatic booking for the first stage of your interview process in a matter of minutes. We have a blast designing features that thread together to supercharge your daily workflows. Staying current with modern engagement strategies should increase your team's efficiency, but it should also feel just a bit fun. Up next, let's take a look at another set of features launched this year that help customers achieve even more with their teams. Now, I'd like to invite Beth from our customer success team to tell you more. Beth.
Thanks, Jared. It's been so much fun seeing customers implement these modern workflows. As one of the customer success managers at Ashby, I have the pleasure of working closely with our customers. No matter the team size, we've heard a consistent theme from our customers this year. You've been asked to do more. Review more inbound volume. Become more efficient in tooling. More interviews per opening. As Benji mentioned in the opening, we've seen a 30 to 40% increase in the volume of candidates who are being interviewed for each role. In the next set of features we launched this year, we'll see how we connect workflows that help you to do more, starting with our brand new bulk application review. We've released a complete redesign of the bulk application review experience. It's been designed to not only speed you up, but also map to your natural way of working. The first thing you'll notice is more context on the candidate's application history. You can easily see previous and existing applications associated with the candidate before diving in. We've also allowed more space for viewing the resume, and you can more easily view it side by side with the application questions. Moving over to the new side panel, you can save a preference for reviewing by oldest or newest, reject across multiple applications, and easily take custom steps like adding candidates to a project or customizing the rejection email. We've also introduced keyboard shortcuts for our power users to help keep pace with you. I always get excited when I hear our engineers are kicking off a redesign, and especially love the reaction like Ryan's from Ironclad. Moving fast while working is great, but how can we take certain tasks off your plate entirely? Let's take a look at one of our more recent feature launches, automation of assessment activities. After our application review, we can see candidates have moved into a stage with an assessment activity. Ashby will automatically send your assessment activities to candidates when they enter a particular stage. If you have assessments going out as an early step in your interview process across many candidates, this automation will have an immediate impact on your daily productivity. Assessments are the first step in automating more of the activities we have set up in your interview plans. We're extremely excited for this automation framework to help you reduce manual tasks. Now that assessments have been sent off, let's take a look at what happens next with some of the scheduling improvements shipped this year. During your workflows, you hold a lot of information in your head to make a scheduling decision. That's why it's important to have a workflow that helps you to stay in context while managing events. Remember that location data we captured in the first segment? Because it's saved on the candidate, we're able to automatically set the time zone, which we can see here. Now, let's say we want to quickly see a candidate's availability for the month. I can do that by pulling up the calendar picker. These dots indicate what days they've submitted availability. You can also see this view in a list below the calendar. There's a day that looks good, so now we're ready to look at interviewers. From here, we can see one of our most recent releases in action, interviewer training, available directly in Ashby as an add-on. Interviewer training allows you to manage training programs that interviewers must complete through shadows and reverse shadows before they become qualified interviewers. This means we can select an interviewer we know has gone through the proper training and conduct this interview, and we can easily add a trainee to shadow. Now that we've got their schedules, we can view any interviewer preferences as well as competing event details like if they're busy or free. All of this context front and center helps me stay in my scheduling workflow. Okay, we're ready to send these invites out. Notice here that Ashby automatically pulls in the job title and social links, providing additional context for everyone in the interview. We know scheduling can have one of the biggest impacts on your team's efficiency, so it's important you're able to move fast and stay in context. So, the candidate has done well in the previous interview, and now we want to have a more in-depth discussion anchored on sensitive company data. The legal team requires us to get an NDA on file before we can conduct this type of interview. Well, earlier in the year, we made it possible for you to send out e-signature requests for any type of document directly from Ashby. Sending documents for e-signature from Ashby removes the need for any manual downloading or uploading while managing another e-signing system. You can create your e-signature request, set an expiration, generate the document, preview, and send. You'll see the signature completion status of the document, letting everyone know who's left to sign. Because it lives in Ashby, it's easily reported on and there for you if you ever need to do an audit. This was one of our most popular feature requests. Teams were spending hours each month managing signature requests and other tools. It's great to hear the relief from folks like Courtney at Brightline. At Ashby, we're always looking for opportunities to remove admin-level tasks like wrangling NDAs and manually sending assessments. Doing more means having a scheduling workflow that actually speeds you up instead of one that feels like it's working against you. Streamlining your daily workflow remains a priority for us, ensuring your teams can achieve more. With that, I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Christian, also from the customer success team. Christian is going to walk us through how to influence your stakeholders and increase performance with the new analytic features we launched this year.
Thanks, Beth. Okay, I'm here to talk about all the ways we've made it easier to engage and influence your stakeholders through your data in Ashby. Whether it's partnering with hiring managers, advising executive leadership, or guiding members of your direct team, analytics in Ashby are a cornerstone for strategic partnerships throughout your business. To start, let's take a look at a subtle but important change that allows you to present your data in a consistent and visually appealing way. One thing we notice is our customers love making dashboards and they love including a lot of custom reports. This year, we launched the ability to customize the default color palette for your reports and dashboards. You can set up to 32 colors for your default palette and separately set distinct colors for demographic categories. This enables you to use your company's brand colors and lends instant credibility when presenting and telling stories through your data. We loved seeing some of the early reactions for this release, like this one from Peter. I know it's not often that you see an analytics product that lets you customize colors, but we didn't stop there. We know that data comprehension can be challenging when viewing many reports across one large dashboard. Sometimes the colors in one chart may not line up with another for a number of reasons, and this can cause confusion. It can also potentially lead to misunderstanding some of your team's most important metrics. To solve this, we developed what we call stable dashboard colors. Ashby will automatically parse your dashboard reports and content to ensure that all colors used for various results are consistent across all your reports. For example, if your inbound source shows up as green in one report, it will also be displayed as green in all of the other reports elsewhere throughout the dashboard. We now have a color palette that matches our brand and is visually consistent. All right, let's move on and focus on our next goal, enabling precise data delivery to each of our stakeholders. In July, we made it even easier to get your data into the hands of stakeholders through our scheduled dashboard delivery feature. This helps ensure you and your team can build a repeatable habit of surfacing your metrics where people prefer to consume them. You can automatically deliver your dashboard on a set schedule, send via email or Slack, pick your recipients, apply any dashboard filters, choose the data format as a PDF or CSV, and include a brief message. You have the option to configure and activate as many scheduled deliveries as needed for one or multiple dashboards. For example, you may want your recruiters to review their own personalized dashboard every Monday morning, or you may want to deliver quarterly hiring progress updates to leadership in an executive-level dashboard. Scheduled dashboard deliveries give you a low-effort way to ensure visibility into all of your data. Now, we've been working very closely with data-driven teams for years, and perhaps the biggest challenge in analytics is delivering clear, concise metrics without overwhelming your team. Custom reporting is often the answer, but how can we create a standard and approachable process for your metrics? Since you're likely to be working with the hiring team to review the pipeline, look at active candidates, review feedback submission stats, and overall interview load, you'll need an easy and approachable way to review and collaborate together. To achieve that, we have introduced the default jobs dashboard. These dashboards and reports are generated automatically for you on any job created in Ashby. With zero setup required, you can view 3 pre-built tabs across any job: summary, interviews and feedback, and source details. Each of these dashboards come with out-of-the-box reports that explain the data and how it should be interpreted. You can click on any of these reports to see specific data points, and they can also be used as a foundation for creating new custom reports. When we released these job dashboards, we heard from folks like Dan really highlighting how your data can help create fans across your stakeholders. right, let's change gears a bit and we'll talk about alerts. Alerts may be our customers' favorite analytics feature to date. We are constantly surprised by how innovative our customers can be with creating and applying alerts to different use cases. We wanted to share our partners' most powerful solutions with everyone, and so we've released the Alerts Library, a full suite of alert template reports for a variety of use cases. The Alerts Library also comes with a new Alerts Wizard that helps you configure new and custom alerts for your own use cases. But our main goal is to bring a core set of different high-value applications of alerts readily to your Ashby experience. We have so much fun creating powerful solutions through alerts, and we've seen a lot of joy in the success that they can bring. We're incredibly excited to have you explore this part of Ashby. And lastly, let's close this segment with some comments about the future. You're going to be entering the new year soon with a whole new set of business goals and hiring targets. So we want to empower you through this planning cycle with confidence and data, and especially give you the ability to establish and track your plans effectively. To this end, we've taken great strides in improving our recruiting planner tool to do just that. We've introduced a set of new visualizations to track your plan progress, added conditional formatting to color code plan progress based off of pace, and we've added explicit end-of-plan estimates. My personal favorite is the pace to goal chart. This new view helps you align with your audience and creates a collaboration point to reach your recruiting goals. With the recruiting planner in hand, we can advise on strategic initiatives backed by compelling data in a profoundly simple way. So we've explored how branding your recruiting data with company colors can convey sophistication to your audience by setting a default color palette. We've also saw how to make your data more approachable through out-of-the-box job dashboards and more accessible by setting up schedules to automatically deliver the dashboards over Slack and email. To round things out, we looked at the new Alerts template library and improvements to the recruiting planner tool that help inspire strategic conversations in your recruiting and business objectives. These latest analytics features help you engage and influence stakeholders while building a culture of continuous improvement. For our final segment, we're going to take a look at Ashby's growing ecosystem of integrations and what it's like migrating your data into Ashby. Here's Graham from our design engineering team to tell you more.
Thanks, Christian. This year, we made sure to invest in two key areas of the Ashby experience: migrating to Ashby as a new customer and building out our integrations ecosystem. Let's start by talking about switching to Ashby from another recruiting stack. We're going to hear from Courtney again over at Brightline. Here's Courtney summing it up nicely. I think we can all agree that whenever we can get praise from the IT team, something must be going really great. But experiences like Courtney's are not uncommon. We've built custom tooling to provide a more comprehensive data import than you're used to. And we've also made sure it doesn't come with a bloated migration and onboarding timeline. Startup customers often go live within a week, and our largest customers typically launch with Ashby in just 6 to 8 weeks. Now, we know adopting a new recruiting tech stack is a big decision. And that's why our product and customer success teams spend a lot of time working on making the transition to Ashby as smooth as possible. Unprompted feedback like this from Chow over at Infinite Lambda helps validate that our customers feel the impact of our efforts. Now, let's talk about integrating with Ashby. Part of making a successful switch to Ashby is knowing how we fit into the rest of your technology stack. Our partnerships and integrations team have been hard at work this year, and we now support over 100 integrations in the Ashby ecosystem. So, this includes tooling across assessments, job boards, interviewing, and post-hire tools. Now, growing the number of integrations in our ecosystem is great, but what kind of impact do they have on your team? And for that, I want to zero in on a few marquee integrations that we launched this year, starting with a major platform integration, Microsoft 365. So, in July, we launched our #1 requested integration by connecting Ashby to Microsoft 365. Outlook email, calendar, and Teams video. And we've been onboarding Microsoft 365 customers over the last few months, helping them take full advantage of Ashby's scheduling, CRM, analytics, and ATS capabilities, all tightly integrated into the Microsoft 365 suite of tools. Welcome, Microsoft 365 users. We are glad to have you. Up next, we have our recently launched integration with Zapier. Many teams use Zapier as a critical part of their workflow to automate tasks between various apps through a series of triggers and actions. Well, you can now find Ashby listed on Zapier's platform, instantly connecting you to the 5,000 plus apps in the Zapier ecosystem. Right out of the gate, we support Ashby triggers like candidate applied, application stage change, offer created, and job posting published. You can also use alerts in Ashby to send webhooks to Zapier. This means Ashby alerts can trigger Zapier workflows, opening up a ton of ways to integrate with your other apps. And once you have your Zapier triggers set up, you'll notice that we also support key actions like creating and updating candidates, adding candidate notes, and changing job consideration stage. We're excited to open up Ashby to the Zapier ecosystem. Stay on the lookout for more triggers and actions in the coming months. Now, and last, but certainly not least, our Workday integration, a flagship integration that is bringing reliable, zero-maintenance connection between Workday and Ashby. Now, we know integrating Workday to an existing ATS is important to a lot of recruiting teams. Unfortunately, we heard from customers that this can be a very painful process. Traditionally, they need to hire a Workday and ATS consultant to build the integration, and it might take several months before having something that they can use. If the integration had issues, there was limited visibility since the original consultants were likely no longer involved. And this could lead to a lot of data integrity issues and manual work to reconcile ATS data with Workday. And maybe worst of all, recruiting teams often had to change the way they worked to fit the integration's limited customization options. So we took these learnings to build something that handles all of these challenges and gives you back control. The bidirectional Ashby to Workday integration allows you to sync Workday job requisitions and positions into Ashby and push candidates hired in Ashby back to Workday. When designing the Ashby connection to Workday, we focused on three main areas. A short implementation timeline, where most custom integrations with legacy ATSs take 6 or more months. We've been able to get customers integrated in just a few weeks. We also wanted to ensure the integration itself was reliable. Our connection is API-based, which allows us to refresh data ongoingly and easily surface any validation errors. It also means you don't need to hire any external consultants for setup and ongoing maintenance. And finally, we wanted to provide highly customizable options for moving data between the two systems. You can choose exactly how you want to sync Workday job requisitions and positions into Ashby, and what details should be sent back to Workday. Another big time saver here is pre-filling Ashby offers with Workday data, meaning that your team won't have to repeat a lot of details about positions and requisitions you're hiring against when extending an offer and pushing a hire to Workday. So let's hear again from Tony on the talent acquisition operations team at Aurora Solar. Talk about how they migrated from their legacy ATS and CRM, consolidated their scheduling tool, and implemented Workday in just 7 weeks.
With our previous legacy ATS, our Workday integration was really clunky, and it was still requiring a lot of manual work from people operations and myself to get together every day just to comb over the data, because it was never static. All of the data was changing on a daily basis, and we were still having to meet an hour a day just to make sure that all of the data was accurate between our two systems, because we didn't have full inbound, outbound data transfers between our legacy ATS and Workday. So it was actually a huge time suck on multiple teams across people. Every time we wanted to make a small change to our hiring process, it was going to require us to hire an outside contractor to make even just like the most minor of changes. So we really weren't able to do any process improvement or innovations without incurring a really expensive cost.
What a perfect way to wrap up our integrations and migrations section. This also concludes our 2023 product launch segment. Thank you so much for following along while we looked at some of the highlights of the Ashby product from the last year. I'd like to invite Kelsey, our VP of Customer Success, up to offer some closing thoughts and an exciting note about the future of the Ashby product.
All right. Thank you so much, Graham. So we saw how the hiring excellence framework is infused into the product, from the moment candidates apply on your job boards, to plotting and tracking your goals using the recruiting planner, to a candidate signing an offer letter generated by Ashby. The people you hire, the teams that you build, are the foundation of your business. And the signing of an offer letter is just the beginning of a long journey to growing and building resilient, world-class businesses. Now, the importance of understanding and assessing the team that you're building through your data is the reason that we built Ashby with such advanced reporting capabilities from the very beginning. So, to close our product segment, I'm incredibly excited to talk to you about one topic that helps you on this journey to build world-class teams. And I know it's on everyone's mind: quality of hire. At Ashby, we believe that quality of hire is something you can tangibly begin to measure as a post-hire or onboarding assessment. So, during the early stages of an employee's journey, hiring manager assessments are crucial for understanding the employee's success and providing insights to inform recruiting efforts. When we spoke to talent teams about this, we generally heard the same thing over and over. Intuitively, they understood what quality of hire meant, why it's important, but there are too many hurdles to set it up and maintain a system to measure it. Well, teams need an easy way to start capturing this quality of hire data. Assessments need to be automated, customizable, and simple for hiring managers to complete. Most importantly, teams needed to visualize the post-hire outcomes and be able to compare it to upstream recruiting efforts to answer questions like, how well do our interview assessments correspond with onboarding outcomes? Do the agencies that we're using produce top performers? And what sources perform the very best for longer-term outcomes? And there's many other questions related to the host of recruiting data that you have in Ashby. So with all of that in mind, what will quality of hire look like in Ashby? Well, our approach is focused on surveying the hiring manager for an assessment of quality post-hire. These surveys are lightweight with smart defaults and fully customizable to give you the ability to assess for your specific points of interest. They're delivered over email or Slack with a focus on driving hiring manager participation and submissions. And you'll be in full control of when to send your assessments, whether it's 30, 60, 90-day check-ins or something else. And ultimately, our goal is to ensure you're able to reliably measure quality of hire over time. And most importantly, Ashby will provide built-in reporting with the unique and familiar Ashby flexibility to customize analysis to your team's needs. So we want to provide a foundation for your team to implement a customized, sustainable quality of hire initiative, taking you from delivery to analysis that natively incorporates the wealth of ATS data you already have. In the same way that Ashby brought advanced, reliable analytics to your recruiting data, quality of hire at Ashby will be a giant leap forward in understanding and measuring the impact of your talent so that you can recruit and build the best teams possible. Yeah. So we know that hiring manager sentiment is only one of many inputs that you may want to consider in measuring quality. But we believe it is the most important first step and a huge improvement over the current status quo. Ultimately, managers need to be satisfied with hiring outcomes, and if they're not, you get great signal to start diagnosing where the issue may be. What we have shown you today will be launching in the coming weeks. From there, we will work toward bringing additional post-hire data points into Ashby to support even more advanced analysis. Thanks for taking a look at our biggest launches over the last year. Now I'm going to hand it back to Benji to close out the keynote.
Thanks a ton, Kelsey. I must say that I'm incredibly excited to be finally contributing to making quality of hire easier to measure for TA teams. Quality of hire was this holy grail in recruiting, and people couldn't quite figure out how to measure it. But as I mentioned in the opening, the quality of each individual hire is even more important in the current environment we're in. We have covered a lot of ground in the product today. Once again, We're incredibly grateful to all of you who are continuously providing us with feedback and who help us rapidly improve Ashby. There's so much more left for us to do. Now, as we're getting towards the end of the keynote, I want to take a moment to reflect on the past year and say a huge thank you to all of our customers and team members. One of the more fun achievements on our go-to-market team was coining the term Frankenstack, which has resonated with a lot of you. The Frankenstack was the status quo prior to Ashby. Many of you needed to adopt a lot of different tools to deliver on the increasing demands for talent teams, often creating a bit of a tangled web of TA tools. In the last year, we've had hundreds of new customers ditch their Frankenstack and adopt Ashby, buying into the idea of a powerful and integrated recruiting product. We're excited to be partnering with hundreds of customers across different company stages and with some of the most sophisticated talent teams out there. If you are already a customer, thank you. And if you're just starting to consider Ashby, you now hopefully know where to find us. And lastly, if you want to stay in touch with us and the broader TA community, I would love for you to take a look at our content. We've been very excited to see all the positive feedback on our Talent Trends report, delivering real-time insights and benchmarks across all areas of the recruiting process. Talent Trends has its own home on the Ashby website, and if you want to subscribe to future reports, you can do so there. And for a wide-ranging exploration of how best-in-class TA teams operate, I would strongly encourage you giving Offer Accepted a listen. Big shout out to Shannon and the team behind the podcast. To date, we've launched roughly a dozen episodes, and they are packed with interesting stories and practical advice, which we align against the hiring excellence framework, which we discussed today. In whichever way you're engaging with us, we want to say a huge thank you for being part of the Ashby community, and thanks for tuning in today. See you soon.